for all kinds of epicness.
All sorts of epicness indeed. So let me introduce these two players up in the top right position as the Red Protoss. Currently, the highest ranking point qualifier for the finals. It is JayPower. And in the lower left position, we do have the Blue Terran. It is PoYo.
Yes, so this is the anticipated match of this qualifier. It's already happening in the round of 8. As you said, JayPower is the highest ranked player. That means that he almost got to get qualified directly by reaching the finals, probably once or twice. I don't exactly know how far he's come in the individual qualifiers, but he's been performing consistently well. And of course, PoYo is a well-known Dutch top-level player. I don't think he has participated before in the qualifiers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's currently trying to get in by just doing very well so far. But he'll reach a formidable opponent in JayPower probably in this game.
Well, I think PoYo, he's a very solid player. I've seen him quite a lot recently just with other tournaments I do, including some quite high-profile ones. And the one thing with him is he's been spending a lot of time in Heart of the Swarm. And it is very clear to know that actually if you're going from Wings of Liberty to Heart of the Swarm or vice versa, it can put you at a bit of a disadvantage because there's some things that you may not be prepared to deal with and certain strategies and tactics which are very viable in one game but not the other. But PoYo, he's very high caliber and so far hasn't, at least in the games we've seen of him, he hasn't been super stretched in terms of his play, but JayPower is certainly someone who may give him a run for his money. And this is game 1 of a best of 3 as well. So it's not all going to come down to who can do a good all-in. It's going to come down to who has the better strategy, who has the better macro, and who has the better micro. So I'm definitely excited to see what these two are going to throw at each other.
Yeah, so this is the first round that's best of 3, and that just makes it just so much better because the chance of someone going out to a cheese or a single big mistake is just so much less, and you can really see the players getting used to each other as the series progresses. So I'm hoping we go to game 3 and we get the maximum value for money in a way.
Yeah, that is definitely something that we should be hopeful for. But at the time being, we just have everything looking a-okay. A quick expansion from both. We've got the second barracks coming up now for PoYo. Usually that'll be followed up by a third barracks and then the double gas. But for the time being, just going out to 2 racks, going to get some extra marines. Maybe because he hasn't scouted yet, wants to make sure that he is safe from any possible aggression that JayPower might be throwing at him. But JayPower will get the first scout out and is going to start just taking a look and seeing that, hey, my opponent, he is very happily taking his expansion. I am safe, no 111s incoming, and therefore everything should be fine.
And I think PoYo is only now going to scout his opponent. He's had a bit of an unfortunate route through the map, and we'll only see that actually there's nothing too dangerous going on. He'll probably breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that his opponent is not going to one base him in the near future.
It doesn't really alter his build though too much because PoYo, he still just went for those 2 additional racks and then 2 gas. It's the standard thing you will do as a follow-up always. What we're looking out from PoYo is hopefully a tech lab relatively quickly when he'll start stim. Of course, that's essential for Marines and Marauders to be effective against gateway units. Meanwhile, JayPower, he's getting up that robotics facility, most likely just for a quick observer to get a good scout out on his opponent. But the center of the map currently being held by the Protoss, and PoYo just looking happy to turtle up for the time being and take his 3rd command center very early on.
Yeah, the tech lab you were talking about is just being constructed close to the ramp of the main, and we'll see what's coming out of it. And there we go, Stimpack research starting, so 170 in-game seconds to go until all the Marines can shoot 50% faster.
Yep, that is of course the benefit of it, but now the factory coming down most likely just in order to tech up to that starport to get the medevacs out. We've got the third command center nearly complete, and with that we will see just get morphed into an orbital command. PoYo unlikely to try and move it down to the third immediately, I would imagine, just rather using it to pump out mules and SCVs, but again, he may just feel risky and want to take it very early on. But other than that, just the double engineering bay, double upgrades will be on their way. And what's this? We have got an SCV just sitting around trying to get a good look at what's happening. But the observer now out for JayPower, the second observer rather, just means that JayPower is going to have absolutely great map vision and a great idea of what's going on in his opponent's base.
Twilight Council just completed for JayPower, and he's immediately finishing it up, following it up with a Templar Archives. Charges coming up as well, so he's really has chosen his tech path and is going for that Templar tech.
Yeah, that Templar tech is an interesting choice because he got the observers out very quickly, and usually you see, at least what I'm seeing more and more, is the Protoss players prefer going for Colossus before High Templar, just because it's the natural tech path after you've gone for those observers from the Robo quite early on. But JayPower, he's switching things up. He's going for those early High Templar, which may catch PoYo off guard slightly if he doesn't have a good number of ghosts out, and those storms are good. But
so what I'm thinking is actually is JayPower going to go for some 2-base all-in with charge lots and Templars, because he just added 4 gateways and he hasn't built a single forge. So he's not really upgrading. He doesn't seem to be investing into the late game at all. So I'm wondering if he just will take this army and go for it.
I think that is exceptionally likely, to be honest. He could just come straight across the map with those charge lots, with those High Templar, hit a couple of storms, morph in some Archons, and then round 2 with yet more Zealots in there would be very strong indeed. And PoYo could potentially struggle to deal with that, but it looks like PoYo wants to be the first one to be the aggressor. He's got the 1-1 upgrades nearly complete. They will be complete by the time he's across the map, and he's now sending a good number of Marine and Marauders and 2 medevacs over to take the center. This probe gonna die a very unfortunate death, but for the moment this is still anyone's game in my opinion.
The observer did spot the army for PoYo moving out. PoYo also dropped down his third behind his aggression, so he's just posturing on the map, making sure that JayPower isn't freely moving into his third, which is exactly what JayPower is trying to do with 2 Zealots warped in a proxy pylon, but they're going to be taken down. They only kill 1 Marine.
Yeah, just 1 little Marine will die, but now JayPower, he's pushing forward, and he's got a good number of High Templar out with, well, actually not that many, he's only got 3, he's just trying to really just get a couple more Archons, and this is just going to be a very interesting timing push for him. The Templar don't have that much energy on them, they're all around 100 energy, so not enough for 2 storms yet, but if he can delay a little while, he should be able to basically get 2 storms off per Templar, which would be essential. PoYo moving forward, and that single High Templar very far forward. Is it going to get sniped? Oh, will it be able to storm? It does storm before it goes down. That was so critical, but it was one of the highest energy High Templar, and now we see JayPower pushing forward, and suddenly PoYo having to defend like mad.
The lift of the supply depot is a little bit late. Some of the Zealots can get around to flank the bunker. Big storms going around, but most of the army has been pulled back. A lot of SCVs died to the storms, and JayPower is pulling back after killing the bunker and some SCVs.
Yep, we see the PoYo has been able to hold at the moment. JayPower, though, he's sending in those Zealots towards the third base. He's going to be able to pick off a couple more SCVs there. But, of course, PoYo, he's pushing forward. He's going to try and take out that pylon, trying to prevent the reinforcements, but is only just able to do so. But a couple of High Templar were able to warp in before they went down. Now the Zealots pulling back PoYo. He is microing for his life, but there is no third base down behind this for JayPower. He is very much all in, and if PoYo holds, he is going to be in a great position.
Yeah, PoYo did evacuate most of the SCVs from his third when he saw the army for JayPower moving over the map. He did lose a lot of SCVs to storms, but he also managed to save quite a few by evacuating that third.
Yeah, we see now that we do have some good force fields going down. The Zealots able to close up a bit of distance, but then won't be able to engage the remaining Marines and Marauders behind those. And now with just a sizable count of medevacs and a good amount of damage being done, actually, PoYo looks like he's going to be able to hold this off. He's taken quite a sizable supply lead. He's also got his orbital command back in his main safely and could potentially come back down in order to just retake that now. JayPower without his own third, a deficit of...
Look at the bank for JayPower.
Yeah, I was just noticing that. He's got a huge bank, but he's actually still ahead.
Huge storms on the big clump of bio for PoYo, and JayPower again gains some momentum. But his zealots are a bit behind, so he cannot really push too much because all his fragile units are up front.
Yeah, this is a concern with those High Templar just so exposed. The zealots now maneuvering themselves forwards, but there is still 6 medevacs out, and they are going to be able to heal off this army very quickly. It's a very marauder-heavy army as well, so very tanky, can take a lot of damage. Concussive shell being used effectively there, and as we see, JayPower trying to retreat as best he can.
The medevacs are all out of energy though, so if there can be additional storms and stims forced, then he is going to slowly whittle away this army. And here we get a storm, but it does miss most of the army. Now with the medevacs out of energy, the bio ball is starting to shrink and also go down in health. So if JayPower can hold on for a bit, he may be able to take out this force, but he's quite a bit down on supply at the moment.
Yeah, that supply is looking to be a little bit of a problem. Down to just 84 to the 120 of PoYo. PoYo's third base back up and running behind this as well. That is an important thing to note. Meanwhile, JayPower noticing that at PoYo, you landed a factory of my third. What are you doing, but PoYo? He is just pushing 40, trying to engage. There are no storms remaining, just those 2 Archons trying to do a good amount of damage. The medevacs are out of energy bar 2, but the Marines and Marauders doing good damage. JayPower forced to GG out for the first game. So game 1 goes to PoYo of this best of 3. It is the loser's map choice, and that was a very, very intense